That's why you guys are here, is to learn how to have more passion in your life and know, what the hell do I do to get more hugs, kisses, sex, and affection into my world?
I'm gonna tell you about a woman whose heart is sunshine, whose body burned hot. I'm gonna tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves that she...
Welcome to the C-Note Show, gentlemen, brought to you by Great Man Move Mountains. It's 11:04 here Monday morning, July 20th, 2020. And if you guys aren't here for the preliminary antics, you're missing out. It's one of the benefits of being here live on the show. Gentlemen from all over the world, love you guys so much. I'm Mr. Jeff Allen. This is Miss Cynthia Cruz. We're both professional coaches. We've been in private practice for years at this point, worked with hundreds of men, hundreds of guys on our private Facebook forum as well. And we're so elated to be here because, like me, you want to know how to have more belief in your day. You want to start off on the right foot, or maybe it's in the afternoon or the evening now, depending on where you are in the world. You want to grow your belief in your own self, and you want to understand some philosophy of how to move through this time in your life when maybe your relationship is in shambles, or you're trying to reconcile, or you hope you don't get divorced, or you're afraid of divorce, or maybe you're past that and you want to learn how to be an amazing man in the world. And that's why you're here, to learn the tools and the strategies, the 3 forms of confidence, and utilizing things like our morning kingly plan every single day. And Miss Cynthia is the only woman allowed on this show for her professional feminine perspective and feedback from a woman about relationship. Welcome, Cynthia. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It is such a gift to be here every day. And in previous shows, when I was not sitting here with you on the couch, I kind of would log in just about before you're about to start, and to get to be part of the laughter before the show and just appreciate all of your energy and your jokes. It just lifts me up and puts me in a really playful energy. And I know that's a huge gift of masculine presence. So thank you just for letting me be a part of that.
Yeah, we all love you being in your playful energy as well, Cynthia. That's a good place for a woman to be. That's a good spot. Oh my gosh. So our theme of this week is, we want to talk about daily renewal of thoughts. Let me share the screen right here. Daily renewal of belief and thought as a man. Where do we go to get modern strategies with ancient Stoic philosophy? I've been reading a lot of Stoic philosophy recently. I got Ryan Holiday's book, The Daily Stoic, that shows a paragraph from Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus or Seneca or other Stoic philosophers. And that's been phenomenal for me to use with our morning kingly plan. So we're going to share some more of that today. And I have, of course, we're going to start us off with some comedy. It's a spoof on Star Wars. I almost said Star Trek. That would be a shame. Star Wars, a spoof on Star Wars. I've got an awesome video from a channel. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The channel name is Better Ideas. And he looks like he's amazing with cinematography. And I love his channel. So I'm going to share a couple minutes from his channel today. It'll be a find for you if you don't know about him already. We've got some Eckhart Tolle. We've got some motivation. Phenomenal. That's why you guys are here, is to learn how to have more passion in your life and know, what the hell do I do to get more hugs, kisses, sex, and affection into my world? You are a man starting to rise. And our theme of this week is Chicks Dig Scars. Chicks dig scars. Cynthia found this awesome picture, this line with a scar across his face, scar across his nose this morning. Chicks dig scars. Kind of looks like Roger. No. Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Especially the long mane.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, it's your stoic stare, Roger. Yes, there it is. Exactly. There it is. I love it. Very cool. Chicks dig scars. That's our theme of this week. And I'd love to give you a challenge, guys. Every day this week, I want to give you a quick challenge to type one word or one short sentence into the chat. And our question of this morning is, I want to ask you, what am I confident about right now in this moment? What are you confident about right in this moment right now? So type in the chat, give us one word or a phrase of, thinking to yourself right now, even if I've got some scars in my face or some scars in my past or scars on my heart, what am I confident in or about right in this moment? So type a word into the chat for us. That would be fantastic. And as we do that, I'm going to move over to our post from the forum. This man says, "This really struck home for me. Feel the pain because it's real. but don't dwell in it. Playing the victim forever and letting the pain consume us will never move us towards the man we were meant to be. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever. So feel the pain because it's real, but don't dwell in it. Playing the victim forever and letting the pain consume us will never move us towards the man we were meant to be. I love that so much, and that plays right into this show. One thing I love doing this show. I wish the show was around in 2015 when I went through this shit, guys. I had an every 2 weeks men's group that I had to drive, 45 minutes to an hour to get to. And this, we can just dial in from anywhere in the world every day and get that daily dose of like inspiration, belief, and philosophy and tools. I love it so much. So how does it hit you, the men that come here, Cynthia, that and we all know that we're going through a lot of shit. As Patrick says, we're going through tough stuff. And even though that's the case, we come here to come and have camaraderie with the other men, to chat with each other within the private chat here live over Zoom or in the Facebook forum. How does that feel to you to know that even though men are going through so much difficult stuff, maybe the most difficult times in their lives or in our lives, that they come here and share with each other and get this daily dose of inspiration? How does that feel for you as a woman?
Well, I feel inspired. The gentleman who posted this on the forum and had the great phrase, chicks dig scars, is, on the meeting with us today. And I appreciate his post, and I feel inspired by his words and the guidance and the energy he's putting out to others. It just makes me feel expansive and proud and ready, and that there's momentum here to tap into. And it's, we all look to change, and we can like get new habits, and it's like, oh, okay, keep going, keep new habits and go. And being a part of this group it's almost like even if you have a down day, the river's still flowing and you still get to be a part of it. And that's even evident in just the chat.
What are they confident within this moment?
Yeah. And Roger said my ability to change. Dave was also there with changing. Rueben said my forgiveness for myself. Joseph said the light at the end of the tunnel. Randy said heading in a good direction, and Walter said being calm.
Oh my gosh, so incredible. Yeah, and no matter how turbulent the storm, or no matter how much we go up and down in the roller coaster of life, we can be proud of something right in this moment. I love that so much.
Yeah, and Kent just added, the pain hasn't killed me to this point.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good, yeah. It's real, we acknowledge it, we bring our shit to the men if we need to, right? And so Ken, maybe later on in the show, I can ask you, what's your story about the pain that you're going through right now? And I think there's so much to be said about the story that's underneath our experience or our emotions that are happening right now, or our thoughts right now. There's always a story underneath that. I love that so much. So let's press pause. I'm going to jump over to some comedy, and then we're going to dive into this shit like we always do in the show and bounce up with a perspective and a plan of how do we have perspective on our scars. But let's start with a spoof on Star Wars called Troopers Mind Trick right now.
And they're like, throw up the deflector shields, throw up the deflector shields. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Because it's really loud when they're attacking us.
Yeah, we're on a spaceship.
You've been reading that thing for the last hour, Larry. What is it?
What? Nothing.
Let me see. Mind tricks? Who gave you this?
All right. Remember that Galactic Magi we released last week?
The old guy who kept snacks in his beard?
Yeah. Look, it turns out he teaches this seminar.
You went to a galactic magic seminar with a snack beard?
Yeah, I did. Rich, look, I'm telling you, there's something to this.
Lift my canteen right now. With your mind, Larry, with your mind.
I don't learn levitation until I'm a Silver Guardian.
Oh, Silver Guardian, yeah. Yeah, sure. Hey, how much does that cost?
This is an ancient religion.
Sure.
That's been passed down through the millennia.
Sure.
Okay, this is not about...
How much?
800 credits.
Ah.
But it includes my very own laser sword. Okay, that's broken. Look, this guy's incredible. He has total control over the weak-minded.
Yeah, I believe that.
I'm telling you, Rich, galactic magic totally works.
Galactic magic totally works.
You will pat yourself on the head?
I will pat myself on the head.
Oh, wow. This is huge. Oh, f***. You will let me sleep with your fiancé.
Dude, what the f***?
You will let me sleep with your
I was
fiancé?
messing with you, obviously! Delana!
Rich, I'm sorry.
Seriously?
You're right.
You're my best man!
That was wrong, man. That was a dick move on my part.
Oh,
Delana's a wonderful
Larry.
woman, and you guys are great together.
Oh.
And I think if I could just spend one night with
Stop
her.
it!
Or 45 minutes.
No!
Yes.
Sometimes us guys won't give up on it, Cynthia. Sometimes we won't give up on it. Yeah. So, when have you fallen for mind tricks in the past? What? Roger says you're too good for me. That's not true. Roger says I'll keep my covers. I don't think so.
Too good looking for you. You have a nice personality.
Oh, thank you so much, Roger. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy. You as well, my friend. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the mind tricks we play on ourselves. How do I segue from that? The mind tricks we play on ourselves. Well, let's jump over to what do we know to be true? That's a great segue into our kingly plan. Number 3 on our morning kingly plan, that if you're not doing anything in the morning, shame on you, because these first 3 things take 3 minutes to do. What's your daily appreciation? Read 1 page of something inspirational and ask yourself, what do I know to be true? I decided to put my money where my mouth is and bring down my morning 1-sentence appreciation journal. This quote's from Oscar Wilde. It says, "Life is too important to be taken seriously." And I've been doing this since we started the C-Note show for 3 solid months. And I've got a bunch. These are stickies from Cynthia. Got a bunch in here for the last 3 months, and mine today is, here we go. Yep, proving it. Look at this. This is my appreciation: routine, great health, and desired simplicity. So routine this morning is when I get up, what I do in the morning, and then I went for a nice walk with my kiddo and the dog to get us moving today. He's 16, so getting him up in the morning right now with no school, everything going on, is a win, definitely. And then I wrote desired simplicity. And that helped us when we were curating the show this morning to talk about, we come here for belief, we come here for inspiration and perspective. And when we talked about, I'd love to ask the guys a simple question where they can put 1 or 2 words or a phrase into the chat. That's the desired simplicity that I was hoping for today, that I was appreciative of today. And we brought that into the show. So answer me this. When a man comes to you and he wants all the answers in the world right now, he wants to magically fix it, right? It doesn't seem like he's wanting simplicity in that moment. He's wanting, well, maybe he desires an epiphany, a magic pill around simplicity. But what do you see are keys for a man that's going through the shit, a man that's able to be confident within himself in one moment, but then in the next he falls into anxiety? What can he desire regarding simplicity in his life? What would be something simple that you would say to him or recommend to him as a professional coach?
Yeah, when I've experienced when a man is trying to fix everything at once, or has that, and I love to do this too. You have like a couple days where you feel like you've moved forward, and then it's some trigger comes up and it's like, oh, that's not going to work. And then, I try something new and then that's not going to work. And he's kind of trying to grasp for the thing that will fix everything, every uncertainty, every disclarity. It feels like kind of being in an ocean with him. And he's striving to find, anchors and buoys in a very anxious way. So in that moment of complete humanness, when we are as if we were trying to, survive out in the forest, and I have to find the way to solve this threat, through the forest is to find that one thing that you can start on, that one small step that's the daily practice. That is here's my one spearhead. I know I've got a whole bunch back here in my pack that I still need to address, but I'm going to commit to this one each day, because even there's going to be a rough day and it's still there. As a woman, there's so much certainty and groundedness and safety in that. And I experienced that in you. I love you have your daily gratitude. I feel the spearhead of that. And that is such a anchor for me in relationship with you.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So I love how we curate the show. That's one example, and the morning routine that we have. And I'm sure you love feeling my spearhead. Yes, I love to feel the spearhead. Yes. And Cynthia doesn't know this video that I'm going to show right now, but that's a beautiful segue into focus on a small bit of action. So pay attention to this 60 seconds, guys. This is really profound. He's talking about Mark Manson's concept of take a step in the right direction. Take some small action. Here we go.
I'm not a doctor, I'm just a dude, and I talk about what works for me. Second of all, even though this video is about how to get out of a rut efficiently or quickly, that's all relative. You're usually not going to get out of a rut overnight. Okay, so strategy number one is to utilize the do something principle. This principle is the catalyst for action. If you don't have the motivation to do something, you need something that'll spark some sort of action, something to get the momentum going, something to get the ball rolling. And the do something principle is a means to take action when you don't have the motivation to do anything. So most people think that in order to take action on anything, you need to be motivated to do that. And motivation comes when you're inspired by something. So for instance, say you're browsing Reddit or something and you come across a Matt Diavella video, and by the end he says something that strikes a chord with you and you're inspired to take action. That inspiration served as the adequate motivation to take action on your goals. But the do something principle dictates that inspiration, motivation, action is not a linear sequence. It's an endless loop, and you can start wherever you want to start. So it's far more efficient to start with action and let that action become the inspiration and the motivation necessary to take further action. So you may be thinking, thanks, genius. If I'm unmotivated to do something, then I should just do something. That's really helpful. But you actually take action without motivation all the time. Do you need some sort of huge inspirational epiphany to take a shower? No, it's just something you do. These monotonous actions are the very actions you should be using as momentum to take further action. If you're just sitting there waiting for inspiration to strike you, go brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth is a little constructive action that will give you momentum into taking further action.
In the chat, I put the link to his channel. It's called Better Ideas. He has phenomenal reviews. He basically, if you haven't noticed how many thumbs down versus thumbs up channels have, he has around 1% or less than 1%. Because of the cinematography, he's got a little humor mixed in. He edits all of his own stuff. He shoots and edits all of his own stuff, and he's got great ideas that he curates. So that's a benefit of being on the show, right, guys, as you see us curate and find all these amazing things for you. So I'm proud to share that channel with you. I put that in the link right there. That's about an 8-minute video, I believe. And so it's worth watching the rest of it. He has 2 other ideas on how to fire up motivation in your life. But yeah, so as an example, if a man is not doing any particular morning routine, right, I think that we easily can fall into a rut out of where we want to be.
Yeah.
And so let me move over. I'm going to jump over to this quote I have. So Epictetus says, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable. And if some regard you as important, distrust yourself." And so Epictetus was born as a slave. He was born in 50 AD, 50 AD. And he taught philosophy for his entire life in Rome and then in Greece. And he talks about don't worry about whether it looks like you know everything. Don't try to appear like you're knowledgeable about everything. And as far as routine goes, so if our routine in the morning is if we wake up anxious about how we are perceived by others, if we're worried about how we're being judged by, well, our soon-to-be ex or our separated spouse, if that's our routine, if our routine is to fall into anxiousness, we need to grab something else. We need to grab something else from our kingly plan. So let me ask, Kent, if you're able to unmute yourself, so how are you perceiving? What's the story around your pain? And you said the pain hasn't killed you at this point. So if you can come in, how are you perceiving that? How are you perceiving the pain that you're going through right now? Able to, yeah, go for it, please.
Hey guys. Yeah. Good to see you. First off, when I posted that, I didn't really know it was going to be the hot topic of the week, but,
yeah, buddy.
No, I guess me personally, like probably the last, call it 2 to 3 months, I've really just kind of, not really, forcing myself to, but I've looked at the entire situation through so many different lenses. Maybe from, my needs standpoint to her needs standpoint to, what's best for my kids to, is there anything there for me anymore? I've really, truly kind of asked myself a lot of those hard questions. And from the pain standpoint, I've really recognized that I, for a long time, have just put my own feelings, needs, emotions, desires, just everything aside forever. And, I don't know where that came from or where that started, but, especially the pain, I've always just been, almost trained to put it in a drawer and lock it because it doesn't matter. And I've never truly let myself feel it or ask myself what I'm feeling. And the more I kind of, view that, the more I understand how much I've shorted myself for a long time because I've never been able to deal with the pain or deal with painful situations in the past, even, from the separation, the soon to be divorce to close friends passing away, which a couple of weeks ago, if you guys, I think I reached out to a couple people over Facebook, and I think a few of you saw it, that I had a good friend of mine who actually was my regional manager 2 Mondays ago, passed away because of open heart surgery. He just never woke up. So that he's two years younger than me, and it really just struck like it was unreal. And I was numb all day Tuesday, literally did not know what to feel, what to think. And then with everything, Wednesday, I think I probably cried 12 times and just all the emotions just came to the surface. And I was alone, but I was okay being alone in that moment. And I'm like, holy cow, this is what feeling the pain feels like. And I kind of recognized the pain that I've kind of been through with the relationship lately too. And that kind of really is where that post came from was, pain is, meant to move us forward. It's meant to not dwell on it because, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. If we want, to have a better life, it's there for the taking, and it's not going to just happen.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, of course, and that's terrible that you had to go through that, or that he, of course, went through that in his family and things. Do you know the family pretty well?
I did not know his family very well, but it was a unique relationship. He and I crossed paths first when I was coaching in Iowa, and he was a salesman for a different company. And so we knew each other before our paths crossed again and worked for the same company. So it was kind of crazy how we kind of got back on the same path. And he became a good friend of mine. I mean, we talked, obviously several times a week because he was a manager of mine, but yeah, it was nuts how quickly it happened. And, as soon as I got that, it was just very, very overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that, certainly. And you've talked about losing people from your past. I want to ask you about that in a minute, from your small town. But so Kent, I'm not trying to lead into something that's Pollyanna here, but has it given you any kind of new perspective on life? Are you still grieving? Where are you now with it?
I am still grieving. I think about him at certain times because he used to go on the road with me. We'd spend days, nights in hotels and things like that. We'd have good times, but obviously we got work done as well. But it's made me think about my past and my relationships with my family, with my friends in the past, and also kind of correlating my relationships now with my kids and my future relationships and how I want that to look. And, it's just kind of made me, again, look through a different lens and understand it's going to take some work if I want that to be better for the future than what I had in the past. And I can say all I want that I want it to be better, but unless I take action, it's not going to happen.
So yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what's the first little action step there?
I'm not sure what the action has been, but I feel like my relationship with my kids has already improved, even though we are still living separated in the same house. We've since signed a purchase agreement to sell our house. I have a new place lined up. Like, things are kind of falling into place for future here within the next month. And it's crazy. And honestly, I don't know what's different, but I feel closer to my kids than I ever have. And I think it's kind of a conscious effort to see them, to be present with them, to be in the moment with them, and to create some memorable experiences here this summer. Even though we're in a terrible summer, not many places are open, but still going on walks, going on bike rides, going to the river, things like that. It's made that fun for them, and it's just kind of made some small moments in the treacherous storm right now, because they're in the storm too, unfortunately. And I'm just trying to do what's best for them and what's best for everyone moving forward.
Yeah, Ken, thank you so much, man. I can relate to when there's a shift in our own self, and it unlocks parts of you that you've been stuffing down for your whole life or your whole relationship, like you were saying. And it's so there's actions outside of us, and then there's these actions within us, this uncovering within us. Do you feel more present with your kids? I'm curious, what are some emotions that have been unlocked, or what are some things within you that you're touching into that you didn't in the past?
I think, hearing what they have to say, I think part of me, almost because they're 10 and 7, almost, dismissed at times the fact that they do have a thought process. They do have intellectual moments, and they do want to learn, and they do reach out for things to learn from me. And I think at times I maybe got a little bit dismissive on that. And from a work aspect too, I've tried to make more moments at home a little bit more meaningful. Baking with my daughter, or setting aside time to go to the ballpark with Braden. Just little moments like that to say yes versus let me finish this up first, type of conversation. So that's been some things that have helped release some feelings too.
Yeah, wow. It's like coming into the present, appreciating how big a deal those kind of things are, instead of being on autopilot. I was on autopilot in my past, before my kiddo and I, before I separated, and my kiddo and I are in the spot that we are now. It's been 5 years of me having those realizations, Kent, of like, wow, okay, if I can break away, he's going to be 18 before I know it. I have something like 70 weekends before he's 18, something like that. Just crazy to think about.
Really out.
He's shooing away his children now as we speak.
Sorry.
No, I'm just joking.
My dog was going crazy there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, to think about it, it's in one breath we think we have forever with them, and then the next breath we realize we don't. And so how can we balance those things in our life? We want to be successful for them, provider, protector. But whether it's with the woman in our life, or our kids, or within our own selves, even honoring ourselves in that way, and our friends, our male friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I've thought about this too, and obviously this is a situation where my hand's been forced a little bit. And I had actually, my brother-in-law had made a good point. He said, well, with this separation, divorce, your kids are only going to be with you half the time. So it's almost essentially that, 4 out of the next 8 years of your son's school years, you're not going to be with them. And that literally about made me break down and cry there too. So every moment, every second, I'm trying to be more thankful, more appreciative, more present, and trying to make those moments last.
Yeah, it's so important. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it. First pausing you. Fantastic. Thanks for being on, man. Good to see you. Yeah, the like, okay, it's halftime, and I mean, you're always with them in spirit, which you of course know, and I of course know that. And that was some questions on the forum as well, is what about co-parenting and shared custody and these kind of things. Is you're always with them in spirit, whether they're in the room or not. And before, if we took them for granted and they were in the room, that wasn't growing our connection with them regardless. So yeah, perspective of how important that is changes, right, guys? Like, you're here because you went through, like I did, a collapse in our strategy in life. Our values in life weren't getting us where we wanted them to be. And that's why we're here to connect with each other and to learn these new tools and philosophies. Love it so much. So yeah, how has that hit you when you hear news of your friends and other families that you knew from small town New Hampshire, and all of a sudden that person isn't here anymore, or that person had an accident, or that person passed away?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about this. I don't know if this is a phenomenon of small towns. I grew up in a very small New Hampshire town, and it just seems like even when I was in high school and then like decades afterwards, there's just so many families have lost someone. So many of my classmates, or, you know, people who are a couple of years ahead of me or behind me. And, you know, my graduating high school class was 43 people. So, you know, you definitely know the people that you're in school with. It makes me think back to that angst of high school, and, you know, things are not going well and this relationship's not working out, and it kind of ends up centering me in it. And I love Kent's guidance in this, of the things that are truly important, and that presence of being with someone. And, you know, this is like high school mindset, but I think about our high school was so into wearing the right clothes at the time. And did you have your Varney t-shirt and your Bass shoes? And I don't know if that was cool elsewhere, but in like small town New Hampshire, that was like, that necessary. Was, yes. And I didn't have any of those, so I was not part of the cool crowd. But those things can hold so much weight in our lives, and even in our adult version of that, what's holding weight that really doesn't need to hold weight. That if even in that relationship, if we're thinking that it's supposed to look like that Varney t-shirt, and it doesn't, how could we change what it looks like? How could we change the shirt? How could we be more present? And I love what Kent said about, you know, baking with his daughter. Kent, I just loved your energy of being a dad to her, and your practice of emotional range and being okay with the emotions that you have. That's just a gift to her. I mean, your son as well, but I'll speak as a girl. Like, that's just such a gift to a daughter, to be able to hold that space and know that range, and, you know, help her dive in and then jump off the bottom of the pool. Like, oh, thank you so much for being that for her.
Yeah. The modeling is so important. It's like more than we ever really understood in the past. So good. Ken, thank you so much, man. Phenomenal. So let me see. I want to jump over. One thing I want to point out, guys, is I found a very short 1-minute clip from John Wineland about why are we doing this work with each other? Like, why are we here? Why are we exchanging with one another? And something that really fuels me in the world is helping other men, being a model for the community, if you will, being a model for our own selves and our family, but also just reaching a hand out to other guys. And that's why you're here. So I wanted to honor that for a moment with a video from John Wineland. Actually, I don't have it pulled up. Let me pull it up for right this second. And also a chapter from No More Mr. Nice Guy. It's chapter 9. So let me share that first. This is chapter 9 of No More Mr. Nice Guy. Get the life that you want. And this is the breaking free activity number 43. Breaking free number 43. Do you believe your needs are important? Do you believe other people want to help you meet your needs? And he says, Dr. Robert Glover says, on a sheet of paper, make a list of helpers you have in your life right now. These can be friends, family members, they can be professionals. After making the list, answer the following questions. What kind of helps do you still need? How can you use these helpers more effectively? This is probably supposed to be helpers. What kind of helpers do you still need? How can you use these helpers more effectively? And how do you prevent these people from helping you? So how do you prevent them from helping you? Start looking for opportunities to ask these people for help build networks. Before asking for help, repeat the affirmation, this person wants to help me get my needs met. So who else do you need in your life? How can you utilize the people that want to help you? And where are you getting in the way? How are you preventing these people from helping you? And that last question was a bit profound to me, is how am I preventing other people from helping me? Right? And so you gentlemen, I'm not sure if each of you has reached out to the others. If you can see on, today I'm feeling kind of really warm about that in my heart, of that we're here for each other live. And so if there's a man on within the private chat right now that you haven't reached out to, shoot him a private message or message him over Facebook and ask him how he's doing. For instance, I'm not sure if Walters can come on today, but we haven't talked for a while, Walters. And I remember the last time that you came on, you were asking, your wife, if you don't mind me saying, your wife to come back to the bedroom, and she wasn't ready to do that. And you were wondering how to work through that situation. And I haven't heard from you in a bit. I've noticed you've been on. So if you have the opportunity to come on today, or if you want to, have a spot on the show tomorrow to bring that up and either ask us a question or just put some things out for the men, that'd be phenomenal. So just always know that you guys can speak up. There's another man that we're reaching out to come on the show today or to come on the show this week as well, if he wants to do that. So we're here for you if you'd like to do that. All right, let me grab this clip from John Wineland.
Nutrient that many men are missing, and that nutrient is a certain kind of masculine love. I've been blessed the last 20 years that I've been surrounded by it. I've just kind of surrendered to it because I had to. And that's one thing my daughter gave me, is I had to surrender into a group of men that could hold me. But there's definitely a nutrient to a man's love who doesn't need anything from you, who doesn't want anything from you, who just sees you. And part of what I hope you get this weekend is that experience of like, hey man, I'm just with you because you're a good guy and I love you, right? And I don't need anything from you, right? So be open to that possibility is what I would give you. Like, be open to the possibility that the guys are going to offer you love, just, just like you got love offered. Yeah, and be open to it. And I hope that the rest of you guys will be in that too.
So one way that John Wineland talks about being present with our masculine, tethered to the present moments and in our masculine power, is to offer love to others. And that's what we are doing here, right? It's not an attachment to anything. That's why we love doing this show for free. And we're here so everyone can connect. And like I've said, I hope that in a generation from now, every man has a tribe like this. And every woman wants their man to be in a tribe of other men, to learn how to use these skills in life and how to model those into the world. So that's kind of I don't know if I'm feeling a little bit gushy on this Monday morning, but I just wanted to honor you guys in that way from a chapter of No More Mr. Nice Guy and that clip from John Wineland. So you're smiling big when I say that. What does that mean to you? If you don't mind me asking a little more personally, right? So it seems like your father was really lost within his own self, or lost and out of touch with the rest of his body. He was an attorney and a teacher, and he's very much in his head, it sounded like. And I don't know what kind of male connections that he had, but he certainly didn't have a tribe like this from when we've talked. And what do you think that offers a man? So you see men that are here now for the past, I think we're going on 13 weeks.
14.
14 weeks, nice, 14 weeks. And how do you see them grow within this tribe? And if you don't mind, if you would sit one of these men sort of energetically next to your father, if he didn't have a tribe like this, how would you compare those two energies? How would you see that?
Wow. That just made me have a little bit of grief well up, as I think about my dad is and was a very intuitive man, very he's able to read energy like nothing else. You got to be careful what you share with him, because he'll get all the details out of you, and because he's just so kind of has this superpower of feeling other people. And I think he has felt very alone in his life because he wasn't like always the raw, I'm the macho and I'm going to watch the football game. And so it felt to him like there wasn't really an environment to connect with other men. And I definitely saw and felt a lot of his anxiety with, wanting to be good at his job, wanting to be protector, provider, and there was nowhere for that stress to go. And he had other outlets, like he loved to perform and make people laugh, but there wasn't the opportunity to anchor to, gosh, what does it mean to be a man? What are the mindsets of a man? How can I really be grounded in my masculine energy? And where do I take the pain, the anger, the embarrassment that I have just as a human being and have it in a safe space? And so I have seen him feel quite alone in life. And that's so different from here, where incredible men who have amazing energy and superpowers and awarenesses can really lean on each other and learn from each other and really ground into something that's very sacred and special about them in tribe. And that makes me proud and feel connected and excited for the relationships to come in the next generation.
Well, I love that. Our theme of this week is Chicks Dig Scars. And that's reminding me of how we're healing our open wounds, like our gaping, gushing, bleeding open wounds. We're healing them into scars. And when either with the woman in our life or with our kids or with our friends or with the next woman in our life, we have to be aware of if it's an open, gaping wound right now, if it's a gushing wound versus if it's a scar. Right? And we talk very often about we want to dive into vulnerability and then bounce off with a perspective and a plan. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if we come to our woman with an open, gaping wound and we don't have a plan at all and we're just wanting her to mommy us, or it's this catastrophe in our life that we feel like our life is over and we've been in that for a long time, say we just stew in that open, gaping wound, what does that come across to a woman as versus we're trying to heal it into a scar? So chicks dig scars, but if we just stay in that open, gaping wound, what does that feel like to a woman?
Well, it reminds me of the Tony Robbins quote that Kent posted, where Tony Robbins was saying, pain it's meant to produce and gift action. It's not meant to bring you suffering. And I think when a man is in like just the suffering place, that this is his mindset is why is this happening to me? Like, I can't get through this. This is not fair. This is not right. To be on the other side of that as a woman, it feels unsettling and uncertain. And I even remember being like the daughter to my father, where he would have kind of anxious wounds that there was no way to move them forward. And I would get, even as a little girl, very anxious. Like if anything in our family was going to change, I would get very like shut down. Even if my dad wanted to change his job, I had this indescribable, like, he shouldn't do that. Like somehow I could control the situation because of that gaping wound. And there was nowhere for him to heal that. So I was trying to create frame and container where I could.
So it just spread to even you as his daughters, that insecurity that he had or that pain that he had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Well, gentlemen, so yeah, if you'd honor our chat here, I'd appreciate it. There's gentlemen talking about how they had small graduating class as well, or larger classes. Yeah, mine was I had like 700 people in my graduating class, which there's good and bad of either side of it, right? And I mean, talk about whether you can get lost in the crowd of that's a good thing, or it's a small crowd, they know you intimately, but they also know kind of where you've messed up in the past. So that isn't necessarily a good thing. And that makes me think of relationship, where how are we judging what has happened with us? So maybe there's 40, how many did you say, 40?
I think it was like 43, and I appreciate Rob could resonate with 72 people.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to know they know all your stuff, and that makes me think of a spousal relationship too. Is, well, are we worried about them judging us, or are we just moving into the power of our own selves as a man, into our belief of our own selves, right? And what's the story underneath that? That's the kick that I'm on right this moment. Is there's our feeling about what's happening, and then there's the story underneath that. And so the story of, well, if I'm only going to be a dad half the time, quote unquote, I can look at, like, which I've experienced for the past 5 years, I can look at that as a catastrophe and be upset and blame, her, blame his mom, blame my son's mom, and go about the whole life in that way. Or I can look at it like Kent is saying, where I can appreciate every moment, right? Or as I'm moving forward in separation. So what's a mindset that you've seen that men have that's been positive moving forward when they're in separation, right? So they come to us and it's a catastrophe at first, and they move into what mindset that helps them perceive their separation spot right now?
Yeah, thank you. The mindset I see is a gentleman who he kind of drops the rope in the relationship of, because she's not wanting to be with me, touch me, be affectionate with me, he kind of drops the push-pull of that, of, oh, that means that I might not get to have this, or I might not be worth this in my life, and that's painful and angry. And he kind of sets that down and then recalibrates to, I'm really focusing as a man on what I want in relationship and what I know is a healthy, vibrant, passionate place for myself, and what I want for vision as a healthy, vibrant, passionate place for my relationship. And if I want this woman want to be on that journey with me, but the vision of that becomes the most important thing. And if there's healing that needs to be done for that, great, wonderful. But this becomes the focal point, and where the passion, want, desire goes, versus, turning to a partner who might be saying, no, that's not going to happen. That's not okay. That's the mindset I see that's so powerful.
So yeah, that vision moving forward, that positive vacuum, that healthy vacuum that he's creating. So that reminds me of, Cynthia has finished her first chapter of the book, 8 Pieces of a Woman's Relationship Pie. And it's everything from no nipple breast massage to panty party, right? I think I nailed that. And so we gave that away starting yesterday. It was the very, very first day when we did our Sunday special yesterday for Good Guys to Great Men under Steve Horseman and Dan Dorr, as you guys know. So we have that for you again today. Yeah, nice, Roger. We have that. I love these guys.
I was wondering where the camera was going. I'm like,
Very nice. I think we were only the only ones preview that. But so we've got that. We've got a chapter of Cynthia's book. We got a giveaway for that. We'll give that at the end of the show here in a few moments, in about 5 minutes. The freeze chapter. I'm losing my train of thought now that Roger was so intimate with us there a moment ago. Very nice. Very nice. There is one clip. There's one other clip for, a video version of that would be awesome too, Patrick. Definitely. So these are some ideas that we should consider. A no nipple breast massage on video. We'll have Roger come in, and he'll do the no nipple breast massage on himself, and we'll record that. So I want you guys to give me some feedback, okay? Before we get to the end of the show, I want to share 2 minutes from an Eckhart Tolle clip when he was on Oprah about how it's coming to the present moment, how not judging the thoughts that we're having, recognizing the thoughts that come to our head and realizing that there's a story underneath there, realizing we get to decide what emotions and thoughts we attach to those other thoughts, right? So something comes into our mind. I mean, I had a really weird dream last night that I remember, where I went into some, like, it was, I think it was an old concert setting, a concert hall up in Fort Collins, Colorado, where I went 20 years ago. And I remember going into, you know, like a nasty bathroom, and all of a sudden the dude next to me turns and starts pissing all over me. And then I woke up, like, immediately in that moment. And I woke up realizing, what am I going to do? Like, kick this guy in the junk or punch him in the face? Or it was basically some way for him to start a fight with me. I I mean, I guess I could do some dream journaling. I don't know what Joseph Campbell would say about that. But I woke up and I purposefully thought, wow, that was a strange dream, and didn't try to analyze it too heavily. I didn't want to keep going with the fighting energy. I didn't want to keep going with the, like, well, would I be ready to fight some guy in a random bathroom? I just didn't really feel helpful immediately when I woke up this morning. And so I just thought, well, that was a strange thought. So I'm going to ask your true opinion, guys, on, maybe you're like sick of this kind of discussion. I don't think so, about how we can recognize our thoughts and label our thoughts the way that we want, or to move forward and just let them go. So I want you to give me some honest feedback on, it's like, okay, Jeff, I'm done hearing this kind of stuff. Or, yeah, we want to keep hearing these on a regular basis. We want to be reminded. So here we go.
Need to know is, in order to live more consciously, in order not to live in opposition to what is in the present moment, which is to live more consciously, accept this moment as if you had chosen it. And that brings in a new consciousness.
And do not deny the moment. This is what I learned from you, that literally it eliminated all stress in my life. Resisting the moment that is only going to create more anxiety and more being more upset.
A lot of the unhappiness that people experience, they believe it's due to the conditions of what's happening at this moment. But in most cases, it's not the conditions or the situation that you're in that causes the unhappiness. It's the mind telling you something about this moment that causes the unhappiness.
Yes,
so there's
like, I should have been there, I should have been earlier, I shouldn't have stopped to do this, I should have done it. It's the mind.
Yes. Yeah. I sometimes tell people, just don't believe what I say, just try it out in your own life. Next time you get upset in a certain situation, let's say you're at the airport, many people get upset at airports, you line up at the counter, it takes a long time, and you get more and more upset, and then you observe that what is it that causes me to be irritated, angry, upset? What is it, this situation? Or is it that my mind is telling me that this should not be happening? The ego is very good at misinterpreting reality, and it believes its stories. The ego comes up with stories, often not pleasant stories, about the isness of things, and it's a source of great suffering. So once you recognize that, you can experiment in your own life when you feel upset arising. Watch your mind.
Yes.
Be there, be aware of what your mind is doing. This is the most vital thing in spiritual life, is to be able to watch your mind, to be the observer of your mind, so that the mind is not controlling you.
And that is how you eliminate stress.
Yes.
And suffering.
Yes.
So the key in the spiritual life is to be able to identify thoughts and understand how you can attach emotions to them or not. You can choose what your emotions are in that moment. So Rueben raised your hand. Yeah, go ahead. Come in, please, Rueben, please.
So, perfect example. I'm not even have to go into detail about it, but I think this is important to continue because it's paramount to each one of us in our growth, because it is whatever happened in the moment or even after that moment. I feel like more or less after the moment, you'll have thoughts in your head of, did I do something wrong? Am I wrong? Am I ashamed? And what I've done with myself is look at the same exact situation, but look at it with gratitude. What about the situation is awesome that benefited me? And when I did that, guess what happens? All those negative thoughts just vanish. Later on, you'll be like, wait, what happened to all those thoughts that were kind of just, edging me on into, feeling ashamed or feeling angry? And they're gone, because you're looking at the situation. You're like, what was awesome about this? How did I benefit from it? And that's what I've been doing. And it definitely works. And it's really good to talk about, because you can feel that in your body. And, what I'm working on is being able to do it in a moment.
Yeah, Rueben, I love it, man. You're such an inspiration to how you've brought in this work, and he's really embodied this, like brought it into his life in the forefront. And how was this for me? Like, so kick-ass, Rueben. Thank you so much. I love it.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. So yeah, Roger's talking about how, Roger in the chat is talking about how he visualizes from Total Recall, that like baby alien thing that bursts out of the guy's stomach, right? Like, rah! It's kind of, yeah, that's right. Roger's sharing on video with us. He's reenacting it, but he he likes to visualize that, or like an alien popping out of the back of his neck. Like when I talk about the Hulk and the energy shoots up my neck, and that's the key for me. He's like, ah, the alien shooting out of the back of his neck. So Roger talks about how he visualizes those things right when he's starting to be upset, or the little boys start trying to pop out. And those really help him stay present for, he is in control of the emotions that are attached, or the thoughts that are attached to those events in his life, like Rueben said.
Yeah, I came across the wisdom somewhere in one of these readings, even before I started talking with you guys, although I can contextualize it better now, that just remember, you are not your thoughts. So when you can depersonalize from those, it kind of helps you understand that, okay, this isn't coming from a rational place, and I don't necessarily have to be that or react to that. Just, it's almost like a third person.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that so much. Oh my gosh.
That's so incredible. Like, Roger, your energy, I just love feeling the power of your groundedness, and even in the alien emerging from the even the Hulk coming up. I feel.
Hey guys, that was awesome. That quote, I loved it. And from the video, it's that ability to catch yourself in the moment, and then just be able to feel yourself, and then bring yourself out of it with peace. And it's a freedom. It's a liberation to me.
Oh my gosh. Love it. Peace, freedom. You're not your thoughts. So big. Thank you guys. Phenomenal. Love to see you today.
I was going to say just one other thing that's related to that, or I now realize how closely it is related to that. I forgot which book it is. They all blur together, but there's the notion of act, don't react. And to a certain extent, as you go about depersonalizing your own feelings, you can, it helps to pause, but even if you don't literally pause, just remember that when your wife or mother-in-law or whoever pisses you off and you feel yourself, ready to explode in anger or pout like a little boy, or do both, as I'm kind of an expert at, just think of yourself as being as cool and rational, be as cool as the other side of the pillow. You know what I mean? Like, be very deliberate in your actions, and be like, even though I feel angry, I'm not going to react. I'm not going to show that, because that sets me back from my purpose and the goal that I'm trying to get to. Yeah. So be very deliberate. Be a little bit like the evil overlord, Bill Belichick. I mean, do you ever see him fucking flip out? No, he's just like,
Yeah.
Once you start doing that, it becomes a habit, though. And look, the guy's got more rings than fingers. So hey.
Yeah, man, fantastic, Roger. Love it so much. Yeah, we can decide how we want to be, and she may judge you for that, by the way. Like, oh, look at you, all Mr. Statue, and all better than everybody else. Like, you might get some judgments right away, but keep up the way you want to be in the world. This is about how you value the world, not relying on the judgments from her. And she needs to see this change in you be consistent, and she's going to stop with the jabs if they don't work, right? So I love that so much. That's going to be a great topic for another time, is pushing through as the man we want to be, continuing to be that man, even in the face of judgment or her criticism, let's say, because that happens so often in the first months as we do this change. So good. So Cynthia, I love it. Guys, we're at the end of our show for today. If you'd help me honor our men today, and we'll close out our show. Thank you so much.
And I see that Walter's put on your camera, so I don't know if you're available to come on tomorrow, or if you wanted to share like Jeff had asked. That would be awesome.
Fantastic.
And thank you so much for everything in the chat. I mean, everything from Roger, I so appreciate your humor. And Patrick, you also shared a little while ago that you had lost, you've lost 2 of your brothers. And so that I appreciate so much the range of emotion here, and how you truly support each other as men, and the strength of the scars that emerge. And thank you as always for allowing me into this very sacred and powerful space.
This has been the C-Note Show, brought to you by Great Men Move Mountains and greatmenmovemountains.com. To get our brand new free chapter of Cynthia's book, 8 Pieces of a Woman's Relationship Pie, everything from no nipple breast massage to panty play, go to greatmenmovemountains.com/free chapter and punch in your information there. No strings attached, no BS. greatmenmovemountains.com/free chapter. Or if you're curious about our one-on-one coaching to move you through this as fast as possible, or to potentially, save your relationship, and I promise you, you will save your own self through coaching, contact us at greatmenmovemountains.com/contact. Love you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
I'ma tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves.